That's why I'm expecting somebody who is bold right now.
Yeah, but in the evening or even in the afternoon or when the children come from school and there is a preparator at home, you know how best that person can destroy this very child. So why is it that we are shutting our mouth? Women are really very involved in movements. Look at our churches. When the women are not there, I think there will be no church. How many men do you have in the church every Sunday?
It's true.
So if there will be any movement, it starts with women.
Yes.
So if the women will keep their mouth shut, I think this problem will still be there. But so since we are looking for solutions, we should move forward. Like you are doing now, it is a movement.
Yes.
Like Madam is doing now, it is a movement.
This is
like I am doing now, we are involved.
Yes.
It is women who have to talk about it. The men are the ones who involve themselves in it most of the time. But if you call a man to come and sit here, oh my God, how many men will you get to come on this panel? I don't know.
I think why the women are not speaking, permit me to say this. Yes, somebody who is bold is calling. Yeah, you're bold and we love you. Hello, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you so much. Give us your contribution.
Yeah, original.
Yeah.
But I want to congratulate the father. They're doing a very good job. And the Bible says lack of marriage and people it's just a common thing, but it's not common. You have to talk about it, but you have to educate them. It's very, very important. Education is needed in that field.
Yes.
Okay. God bless you, Mama.
Thank you so much. Thank you, caller. And you have something to say, Ms. Salagbe, because you are training people on that area. Now,
I'm glad to announce that in April we will have some workshops on this for parents. It's not only on sexual abuse, but also how to prevent sexual abuse and also on domestic violence.
Yeah.
So we will announce it on this radio, hopefully.
Yeah.
And also watch Salto too.
Yeah.
Sundays 5 o'clock. We will do it first on television.
Yeah.
And then do it live with parents in workshops. We will talk about, because it's very important that parents prevent sexual abuse. You know, the most important thing is that you have an open communication with your kids on every issue, not only on sexual issues, but on every issue. If your child comes home, then you start talking with him. What happened to you today? How was your school? Did they tease you at school? What friends do you play with? Talk with them and let them know that they can discuss any topic with Papa or Mama. They don't find anything strange, even if you yourself have some taboos.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened to me that my child came home and she said, oh, a man took me into the car and he showed me a puppet arm, and I know immediately that it was a penis. I mean, the child indicated it as a puppet arm. But I knew it is a penis of a man, so my heart almost stopped beating, but I controlled myself and I didn't scream or whatever, because the child might think,
what's happening?
So I said, oh, let's go and see where that man is, because I want to see the puppet too, because I didn't want to scare the kids, and I want to keep the communication open. So you really have to control yourself as a parent, because you shouldn't make it worse than it is. Nothing happened. She called it the puppet arm, so she was not scared, but she escaped.
Yes. They have a lot of names they give it to.
And so I also want to emphasize that the open communication, you have to talk, you have to tell your, but whatever you talk with Papa and Mama, we don't find anything strange. Even if you commit a murder, you come home and tell me. Make that safe environment so that they come and tell you things. Another thing is what I often hear in that they teach the children to obey grown-ups. They have to obey grown-ups. And I want to teach children not always to obey grown-ups.
Let's talk about that side and let's obey, because you are talking about the children, but I would also want, that's why I brought a journalist here, and she's also an African. I want to know, how do you think is the best way to relate with our mothers, our women, to get them out of this shell? Is it that their husbands are beating them up and they are so scared, and because of that they are impacting the same thing upon, the strictness upon which the African mothers bring up their children, and those of us who are still in this 21st century doing the same thing? It's so amazing. and so surprising to me. And the inability of allowing their wives to speak out is another shameful thing I'm finding in your community, especially. Because, I mean, in the Nigerian community, it's a little bit more open. And some of them wonder even why my husband allowed me to dive into this sort of issues. So I wonder why can't the chauvinism in your culture be broken so that women can be themselves?
Sure. I'm a Ghanaian, and I tell you, my husband is so free. That's why I'm here.
Yes, it's true.
He's one of the few who will allow you to go anywhere you want. Some people ask me, does your husband always?
Yes, it's a lovely man.
Yeah, is interested in whatever you do. I said yes, because we communicate. Anywhere I'm going, he knows,
yes.
And I tell him why I'm going. So I come in here, open communication.
Yes.
In the African community, most of the time, I will not limit it to one country or one culture.
Yeah.
In the African community, some of the places they are more open than the others.
Yes, exactly.
But in a nutshell, let me say that in the African community, women are supposed to limit themselves, obey their husbands, and do most of the time everything that the husband says.
So that means they are being denied freedom of speech.
No, not so. When you were a child, you are brought up to obey your parents,
yes.
And they tell you when you are in marriage, this is what and what and what you have to do. And the Bible also teaches us that we should be submissive to our husbands, but we overdo it.
Does it mean you cannot air your view?
No. That is what people think. If you have to be submissive to your husband,
yes,
it means that you have to get a common ground when you are discussing issues. Your man shouldn't be over it,
yes.
But there should be a common ground that you two can come to understanding and do things in the right way. When you are in a relationship when you cannot talk your heart, it is not right.
And when you speak your heart, somebody becomes unnecessarily aggressive.
Yeah.
And
that is
you bring it out outside the world, so we know what goes on in home.
And that is the same thing we are doing to our daughters. We are not having the open communication that we need in the homes. If the open communication is there,
yes.
why is it that somebody will touch the clitoris of a child,
yes.
and that child cannot come home and say it to mama?
Yes.
Because mama and daughter or son should have a very safe and understandable relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. And you see some men making so close relationship with their daughters. It is understandable. But you as a woman should watch out.
Yes.
You should watch out.
Yes.
Any signal, if a child says, maybe mama, I have pain here or there, you should be quiet in a certain manner, but try to question the child. Why do you have this very pain? How did it come about?
Yes.
If there's anything, tell me. Mama will help you.
Yes.
Just let the child feel that mama is there for me. Papa is there for me. So that you people can really find a common ground to discuss things in the house. Other than that, our African community, we don't like talking about sex, and I don't know when it's going to be broken.
Not only about sex, you don't allow women even to speak. You don't even allow. It's like a woman is not allowed to speak. So whatever a man says is the final word. So
yeah, I wouldn't agree to that, because there are a lot of women who are free now to talk. But the reason I think most women try to shun away from certain things is they think they are protecting their families. Meanwhile, in another way, you are rather destroying the family. Yes. If your brother is in the house abusing your child, should you keep quiet?
No.
You should keep. Yeah, just speak up. When the person is being sent to Africa, he will go and think, and the next time he comes back, he will not touch the clitoris of a little girl.
Yes, because
I hope they don't send these people to Africa, because it's even more easy to abuse kids there.
What makes you think so?
Yeah, it happens a lot. It happens because misuse of power is also there a lot, and children are not protected as they are protected here. But I think to add to you, men need a lot of respect. So let us give men respect because they really need it. It's the first
No,
survival
we are not
for them.
saying we are not giving respect.
But if a man doesn't behave like he should behave,
Yes.
then we as mothers stood up and protect our children. I think, but there are also still a lot of good men. But I think even that is a reason why if you always instruct the kids to listen to grown-ups and to shut up their mouth when grown-ups are there.
Yeah.
I mean, it might even be a reason why there are so many teenage mothers now. Because if you always have a bossy father and you listen, you also listen to a bossy boyfriend, and you are pregnant before you know it.
And that's
so you
why
have to
there's so
teach
much
to
of
say them
domestic
no.
violence now.
You have to teach them to say no. You have to train the will of the kid. Even if you find it uncomfortable when you have a stubborn kid, you say, wow, you have a strong will. That's good. Use it for good things. But don't break their will, because they have to say no in areas that they need to say no. But I really want to emphasize prevention.
Please, can you do that?
Is that okay?
Yes.
Because what I said, the open communication, you know, many of, I work with teenagers as well, many of our teenagers are not getting the sexual information from their parents, but from their peers. And I would prefer to instruct my children by myself and talk about sex as any normal other issue of life.
Exactly.
I mean, you mention your hands, you mention your ears, you mention your eyes. Why wouldn't you mention your private part?
Yes.
And make a difference. Tell the children from very small on that there are good feelings, bad feelings, and shameful feelings. Like good feelings is when Papa caress your hair, or when you walk hand in hand with Mommy, when you get a kiss before you go to bed. That are normal and good feelings. Then there are bad feelings, when you get beaten up, when you get licks. That are bad feelings. And then there are shameful feelings, who might be nice in the beginning, but afterwards you think, something is not wrong, something is not right here. So you have to teach your child that there are different feelings and share this with him, because if you can speak about the emotions, then the chance that you speak about this kind of things is bigger. And it has to be opened up. It has to be opened up because it's very damaging, and it goes from generation to generation if you don't stop it. And if a social worker is in the family and it stops with one child, very often they go with the other child. So you have to take care and visit this family very, very often. And another thing is the role of pastors in this. When incest happened in the church, they often are very quickly...
So what about those who do not go to church? Because that's why I try as much as I can to make my programs broad. Because there are some people who are listening right now, they don't go to church.
Yeah,
so we have to listen to everyone.
Anyway, I've not even mentioned that, but the best thing, if the perpetrator is violent, you have to go to the police to take him out. Out of the family. Not the child should be taken out. The father has to be taken out, or the brother, or whoever. But in this case, I want to warn pastors that they are too quick with forgiveness. often,
speaking, baby.
Often the perpetrator he regrets what he has done, but regret is only for the social consequences for himself.
Yeah, and he didn't repent.
He didn't really repent.
And yes, that's what we are talking about.
Repentance is very important. Behavior. It's changing of behavior. And let him, when I worked in the police, some of them, they want to say sorry to God. They don't want to say sorry to their child. Always make them ask forgiveness to the victim, because that will relieve them
what you are saying
from
is
shame
that,
and guilt.
Excuse me. So what you are saying is that we don't just go to God and say, I'm sorry, Lord, forgive me. And then meanwhile, you've not repented.
No.
Before we sign off, Nana, what do you have to say? Because we have just 1 more minute.
Yes,
Thank you.
I don't want us to make this Europe, Africa, blah, blah problem. It is a world problem.
Exactly.
And it should be tackled as such.
Yes.
Because in Africa, there are so many respectable persons who will never touch a child.
Yes.
And here in Europe, we have so many things on paper.
Yes.
But how many times do people come to the police and say, somebody touched me, somebody did this thing to me? So we shouldn't make it Africa, Europe, or Asia problem. It is a world problem which should be tackled with energy, with strongness, with feeling emotions, and let's accept the people who are being abused. Don't let us think that it is their problem. It is our problem as such. And we should all be part of it to solve this nasty problem in our communities.
And if somebody doesn't know, if somebody doesn't know where to go, you can always ask for a confidential talk with me.
Yes.
Or slachtofferhulp.
Yeah.
Or AMK. But you can always reach me through this program.
Yes. Thank you so much. And please, in case you want to reach Mrs. Alagbe or you want to reach Nana, you can also go to the web blog of Radio Voice of Niger. We're going to put their information there. You will get to the web blog and then on www.radiovoiceofniger.org. And then you can read information about them and then you can call them. Thank you, ladies.
God bless you.
Thank you so